Hi guys, thanks for checking the video out. Steve Buzza here, chipping area, and I'm going to talk about chipping. Just seems logical. So I'm getting a lot of my clients that come to see me in person and get a lot of comments on social media are like, should you open up when you're chipping, or should you stay straight, or should you close? And you've got this kind of old school versus new school. You know, the old school, you're a bit more open. You know, the more modern day coaching is a bit more square. So I understand, and you've got to realize it's not a black and white situation, but I'm going to just explain briefly a few of the issues that you can get from both camps. And I want to give you a little drill so you can kind of try it for yourself. So it makes sense when you're chipping to have a slightly open stance, because in chipping, unlike the full swing, we're not loading into our left side. So that loading and opening of the hip in our full swing actually gives us some space. We don't have that, or certainly not to the extent of in the full swing. So starting with it almost slightly open gives us some room, so it makes perfect sense. In my opinion, even if you open up a little bit in the lower body, I wouldn't be opening up in the upper body. I don't think we need to cut across too much. Causes us to like drag the handle, it can cause us some other issues. But if you want to feel like you're a bit more open, that makes sense. The downside of being open, and I see this a lot, is in a quest to give yourself room, you get your back leg, so as a right-handed golfer, the right leg gets in the way. So now I have to start working across, so I actually have to start cutting across. This causes big issues on a shot. So let's say this front pin, not as big an issue because that little cutty action is going to help me stop the ball. So the middle pin, however, if I'm here and I feel like I'm chopping across, you know, it gets hard to control. You know, I want to be able to pick one that's just kind of a bit more neutral in the way it moves. So for that reason, going a little more square. So the drill I'm talking about, I want you to hit a few balls. I want you to put your feet in a T, and you're going to first of all have this T pointing to the left. So we get the T, and I want you to hit some shots. Don't really worry about too much about where they're going, but just think about the contacts, the consistency if you've played 3 or 4. I then want you to do the opposite. So T pointing more to the right, and hit some shots that way. I think what you'll find, so again, I think what you'll find is if you adopt the T, so the latter one I did, a bit more to the right, you'll feel like you can almost be a bit more neutral, so the ball will land and it won't spin and check, it will feel like it's a far more neutral bounce. A bit more like if I was throwing the ball. You know, if I throw it onto the green, I'm not trying to spin it with my hands, it should be more of a neutral, almost if I rolled it. If you get more here, you're going to feel a bit more cutty. So you're going to feel a bit more spinny, a bit more checky. So you want to try both. My personal opinion is I prefer the feeling of the T pointing to the right. You know, it feels like it's almost a more drawy contact, especially for your more basic chips and pitches. But you might be somebody that hits the ball extremely low and feels like they can't stop it. So as a result, you might resonate better with this other one. Once you've created that feeling, then try and build it in, maybe not as quite a severe manner as I've shown you in the drill. So again, this video is more about you discovering what works better, rather than me just telling you, don't do old school, do new school. Or the new school, these young kids don't have the experience, you need to go with the old school. You know, that's not what this video is about. Try and discover it for yourself. Play around, find what works for you, what gives you your optimum ball flight and spins, so you can get more predictability. If you can get predictability into your contact and ball flights with short game, you'll be already halfway there to having some great results. So I hope this has helped. Get some comments down below. Are you somebody, and I know you guys are out there, that have switched your technique but for no real reason? There's no justification, you just thought, I'm not old school, I'm new school. Or not new school, old school? Did you just change it, but with no real justification for why? Get that comment down below, and I hope to catch you soon.